This is a great volleyball area, primarily because of Mick Haley's Lady Longhorns, who won the national championship back in 1988. Brent Frohoff, Ricky Luyties going up against St. John Smith and Randy Stoklos. Big Stokey fixing his headband. He and St. John Smith have played well today, as have Brent Frohoff and Ricky Luyties. A little earlier, it was Mick Whitmarsh weather. It was cold and chilly, but the sun has come out, 65 degrees, the wind gusting about 20 miles an hour. You'll see the flag a little later. Forecast a little chilly, but it's going to be okay. A nice day here in Austin, Texas. The sand, 1,050 tons, according to Rudy Papaco. It's quarry sand from San Antonio, 8 inches deep. Under that is grass, and it has good consistency. It's a little dark because we did have a little rain earlier this morning, but so far so good, no complaints.
Well, and as the day wears on, I think the conditions are improving. We had dismal overcast skies this morning and high winds, and now we've got clear blue skies. For this time of year in Texas, the humidity is very, very low. Storm blew through last night. The breeze is still up, but I think dropping a few miles per hour.
St. John Smith to put the ball in play for the team of Smith and Stoklos. Smith with the upturned visor, color coordinated today in navy and magenta. Here we go. Frohoff, no shirt, and down the line goes Brent Frohoff. So Frohoff gets a kill. He's 29 years old. He's going to be 30 on May 10th. And he'll have the ball and serve, wearing the black bandana. 14 career wins, all with Karch with the exception of 4. He's got 14 total. 3 with Akatubby, and 1 with his current partner, Ricky Luyties. They won one of the Cuervo events last year, and it was a big one, big surprise, as Luyties has it. Semifinal action. Winner of this game plays Karch Karai and Kent Steffes. Stoklos whaps it down the line for a point. So Smith and Stoklos on the board, 1-0.
As you can imagine, in these sorts of conditions, even though I think the wind is diminishing a little bit, a lot of points coming from the service line throughout the course of today's action.
So Ricky Luyties will have the ball. 6'5", 210 pounds of solid muscle. Born May 14th in 1962, so he's got a birthday coming up. Birthday boys playing together. Stoklos cut inside. And the side out.
It's a big chance for Ricky Luyties and Brent Frohoff. They struggled a little bit last week at the Cuervo, although had some excellent moments of playing strong volleyball together. And this would be their best finish of the year if they're able to break through here. And this is a team that I think can win tournaments, not just a tournament. And it's time for them.
Frohoff off Stoklos, and he can't find it. It was up in the sun for a moment, and the side out. 1-0 is our score. Smith and Stoklos lead. Our first referee today is Greg Krause. He'll be up on top, making all the decisions. There's a little controversy in this match, as there have been in a couple of the recent tournaments, Phoenix and Clearwater. And on to Randy Stoklos, hits it over. So big Randy Stoklos, 32 years old, doing his thing.
Just shooting on, too, and the deception, very, very good there. Both hands up in a good setting position, just knocked off the kill.
Frohoff, and he gets it. Brent Frohoff cutting inside.
Frohoff and Luyties, Chris, have got to keep their unforced errors to an absolute minimum. Smith Stoklos with great ball control. We've talked about that forever and a day, but Ricky Luyties has been known to make some mistakes, and Frohoff the same. They've got to make very, very few unforced mistakes.
1-0 Smith and Stoklos. Smitty down the line and score. So St. John Smith, who is 35 years old, finished second in Hawaii, second at the Avion in New York, won Fort Myers along with Stoklos, of course, third in Phoenix, and then had a terrible tournament last week, finishing 7th in Clearwater. Smith has won just over $25,000 so far this year. Trouble. Stokey gets it.
Unforced error number 1. I know it's windy conditions, but it's windy on both sides of the net, and just cannot have those sorts of mistakes.
Wind really howling right now, at least in the broadcast position.
And it's tougher on the players because it's gusting. It's calm for a couple of minutes, and then it gusts up to 20 miles an hour, and then it changes direction and shifts again.
Over the top and down, side out. And so Brent Frohoff will put the ball in play. Always had good success at Santa Cruz. Brent Frohoff got his first victory with Scott Akatubby back in 1986. Young kids banging away that jump serve. And Fro trying the knuckle jumper, the float jumper, just missed. I've never seen him use that before until this moment.
No, and I like it. We've seen it used indoors before where it's much easier to hit because you don't have the wind blowing the ball around. But I think it can be a real weapon out on the beach as well.
Chance for Smith and Stoklos. They lead 2-0, and Stokey dribbles one into the bottom of the net. So Ricky Luyties will have the ball. He's got 6 career open wins. His first open win came back at the 1988 Manhattan tournament. 4 wins in 1991. He won 1 with Dodd and 3 with Adam Johnson. Still speculation they may get back together one day, but I talked to Ricky this morning. He said, no, I'm completely happy with Brent Frohoff right now. We think alike, we play alike, we're a good team. We won tournaments last year, we're fine.
And part of that, I think, is that Ricky is still very angry at Adam Johnson for dumping him last year.
Yes.
Ricky was hurt at the beginning of the year and not able to play at 100%, and Adam just wasn't patient and dumped him, and Ricky's still mad about it.
Right to Frohoff, look for the yell. He pounds it down the line, and they can't get it back. Smith and Stoklos had a chance to get a point there, but Frohoff with the save.
Well, this helps to come back from one of those unforced errors. The nice dig here by Smith, but very low. But look at Randy Stoklos. You talked about how big and strong he is, but he can still get down and grovel.
So Brent Frohoff, who is 160 Cherokee Indian on his mother's side. Stoklos goes on 2, and Frohoff gaps one. My gosh, that was right to him. He anticipated it while he was over there.
He was on the run and just didn't finish out the play. And right now, looking over at his partner and saying, I'm sorry, but that is just a bad defensive effort.
Randy Stoklos this week voted one of the 10 sexiest male athletes according to Playgirl magazine. As Luyties puts it away. How do I know that? I read Paul Sunderland's copy. Stoklos, Fred Couples, and Christian Leitner also in the top 10. So Randy Stoklos, what do you think? Randy Stoklos, one of the 10 sexiest male athletes in the United States. What do you think about that, Paul?
I think congratulations for Randy, and I don't know what his new wife, Carrie, thinks about it, but...
happy he's
look
not
at
number 11.
Hey, we've been saying it for, Randy's a big, good-looking guy. He plays a sport. We don't have to wear hardly any clothes, and I'm not surprised by that at all.
2-0 is our score. Luyties punches another one down, side out.
Come on, man.
Frohoff and Luyties on the good side, and Luyties poised at the net to block.
Good.
Smith, pretty good pass. And Frohoff with a sweet dig. Luyties, not yet. Smith with another great dig. And he puts it away. St. John Smith.
Well, that's just fabulous ball control, really, by all 4 players in these windy conditions. But the key was the great bump set to St. John Smith at the end of this rally for the kill.
All right, there's a timeout. We're coming back. 2-0 is our score. Smith and Stoklos have the lead. Back to Austin. Let's update you on the placings. Jose Loyola, Eduardo Anjinho, 4th place. A great finish for the team from Brazil. In 5th, Adam Johnson and Brooke Vandeweghe. Mike Dodd, Tim Hovland also finished in 5th. Disappointing for them. Hovland's toe hurts. Al Jantz, Craig Muthard in 7th. They look good, as did Eric Fanoy Moana and Brian Poison Ivy, also in 7th. Scott Friedrichsen, Tim Walmer in 9th. John Hanley, David Swadek in 9th, point away from 7th. Dan Verbalovich, Troy Tanner in 9th. And Brian Lewis and Mike Whitmar. So some heavyweights in 9th place in this tournament as we battle it out for $75,000 in total prize money. Chris Marlowe and Paul Sunderland back at center court. Ricky Luyties and Brent Frohoff leading St. John Smith and Randy Stoklos by a point with 5 minutes and 45 seconds to go in the game. Frohoff to serve. Now Frohoff and Luyties on the bad side. Let's see what they can do. Smith and Stoklos. Well, I would think you'd have to get at least 4, and Stoklos throws that one. Double contact called by Greg Krause.
And that's a good call. Stoklos is going to complain, obviously, but I thought Krause set a pretty good standard for handling the ball overhand, particularly in these wind conditions early. He'd let a lot of balls go with a little bit of spin, but that one was, as the players say, a chuck.
Randy Stoklos growing a beard. I asked One female spectator, how she liked it, she said, I think he looks great. Becky from Austin, Texas said, Stokey, yeah, he looks handsome. I would have voted him the sexiest male athlete in America, not just one of the top 10.
You voted him that, or was that Becky that voted him
No,
that?
Becky said that. Smith, Stoklos can't get there. Brent Frohoff really jumping today. He lives in Manhattan Beach, California. Came into this year with just under $600,000 in total prize money. He has eclipsed that.
And point number 1 for Frohoff and Luyties from the bad side. Smith and Stoklos got 2 on their first journey to that side of the park. We won't call it the beach.
Stoklos with thunder going right over the top. Stoklos also played his college ball at UCLA, as did St. John Smith.
Tell you, Randy Stoklos prefers to go cross-court, but look where Luyties goes. Luyties goes early and deep into the cross-court angle, and Stoklos just sizzled him down the line.
Here comes Smith, the all-time career open win leader at 134. Ricky to St. John. Throw with a knuckler. And he gets it right on the line. The little tap shot by Brent Frohoff.
Say, one of the keys early, I think, has been the setting of Ricky Luyties. Tough for him in these conditions. And he's paid to hit and block. And so far, his ball control has been exceptional. Again, he was an All-American setter at UCLA.
Brent Frohoff, who's very, very dangerous in windy conditions. Stoklos. Ricky chugging. And Frohoff has no one to blame on that play but himself. He had a free ball right to him, another errant play.
But, you know, I think Frohoff just loses his concentration a little bit. The play earlier when he was running and had read Stoklos and just didn't execute, and there he's talking to his partner again, and making Ricky Luyties, who has to take a sand timeout right now, to just, you know, you got to make those easy plays when you have a chance.
Talk about St. John Smith as the #1 man in professional beach volleyball, 134. Stoklos 20 behind. Ron Von Hagen and Karch Karai are tied. Karch Karai could move ahead of Von Hagen today. Hovland and Dodd, Jim Menges, the great Ron Lang, and one behind Lang is the cocky one, Kent Steffes. He's piling them up quickly. He has 39. Frohoff and down the line. Good call. You could really hear Ricky say, over him, and he got the right him.
Well, even though serve distribution between Frohoff and Luyties is about 50-50, well, Frohoff getting most of the serves. I stand corrected, 12/5 to Frohoff. Luyties, again, doing a good job setting the ball and calling out offensive signals.
Stoklos with a diving passing play, and he cuts it into the net. Fatigue factor for these teams this week, Paul?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. For 2 reasons. One, it has been very, very cool. And secondly, the tournament last week was Friday, Saturday. They had an extra day of rest. I don't think the players should have any sort of problems at all. The weather has been cool here for Texas.
Suddenly, it's 5-2, Luyties and Frohoff. Up by 3 over Smith and Stoklos. Could be 6-3. Could be 6-2. Marlowe can add, and they can. Frohoff hits. Added up 6-2 now.
4 points from the bad side for Frohoff and Luyties right now, and they're having no problems whatsoever controlling the ball. And it's Smith and Stoklos, actually, who are not passing and setting the ball, getting in a good side-out situation.
Ricky Luyties, his 1984 senior year at UCLA, his team was undefeated at 38-0. They only had one 5-game match all year. Pepperdine. Luyties with a dig, 38-0, maybe 39-0. Coming up, got it. Ricky Luyties, and it's now a 5-point lead for Fro and Ricky.
Everything going the way of Frohoff and Luyties right now. They're serving tough. They're taking advantage of most of their point-scoring opportunities. And again, this comes off a bad pass from Randy Stoklos, St. John Smith with the knuckler, and Luyties with a kill down the line. And Frohoff and Luyties on a roll here now, and another point from the bad side.
Timeout taken by Smith Stoklos. We're going to take a short break. We're coming right back, 7-2. Fro and Ricky 5-5. This pot 3 is open, part of the ceremonies down here in Austin, Texas. And the big event of the weekend, of course, AVP Pro Beach Volleyball. Ricky Ludy's and Brent Frohoff taking it to Smith and Stoklos right now with 4 minutes and 26 seconds and change left in this game. 7-2, Fro and Ricky are ahead.
Plenty of time left on the clock for Smith and Stoklos, obviously, to make a comeback. The game barely half over, but they need to settle down in their side-out game. You side out for a long time, you put pressure on the opposition.
Smith jumping out of bounds, and once again the ball back to Ricky and Brent. Frohoff, a couple of wins last year. Very versatile player. He won in New Orleans with Mike Whitmarsh. Whitmarsh's only win, and then he won in Santa Cruz with Ricky Ludy's. So he chops one out of bounds. That really shows Frohoff's versatility, the fact that he can win with a number of different partners as he has in his career.
Excellent ball control, can play both the right and the left side, and has a dynamic jump serve.
Frohoff. Oh, his hardest hit of the summer, perhaps. Bouncing on wet sand. Oh, did he hammer that one? Side out. Score remains 7-2.
And Fro is pumped, loves slicing off the angle, particularly against one of the top blockers in Randy Stoklos.
Working on Stoklos, 7-2. And Stokey murders one inside. A reminder, coming up a little later, women's action, Linda Carrillo and Jackie Silva will take on Angela Rock and Cami Sorelli in our women's final. We'll show you some of the action from that one. Two teams, marvelously talented women. There are 8 players on tour. Queen of the Beach format, so you play with a different partner each week. Really tests your athletic ability.
Well, and your versatility. We were talking about Brent Frohoff winning and performing with different partners. They will do that, I think, through the Chicago tournament, and then they will pair up as they see fit. I'll tell you, the phone lines will be burning the week before the Chicago tournament, and then they will have straight elimination tournaments the rest of the summer.
The women you're talking about?
Yes.
I didn't know that. Ricky got it. So Ricky thumps one down, and Ludy's and Frohoff go to the bad side and whip up a shutout. 5 in a row. 4 minutes and 3 seconds to go in the game. It's 8-2, Ludy's and Fro. For UCLA, nobody's ever done that except his teammates. 2-time NCAA MVP. A couple guys have done that. And an Olympic gold medal. His record in college, 126-7, the second best of all time as Frohoff dials up another ace. Karch Karai has the best record ever in college, 124 wins and only 5 losses. Karch won 3 NCAA titles. But Brent Frohoff and Ricky Ludy's are ripping Smith and Stoklos 11-3. Crowd stunned here. A big pro, Smith Stoklos, following down here in Texas. They're not receiving serve.
Look at that.
They're just getting worked.
And that's something you take for granted. And Randy Stoklos getting worked here down the line. And the distribution of serves received between Smith and Stoklos is about 50-50. Smith, known as the great passer, people have been avoiding him, but that is just a great rip down the line against Stoklos.
Might as well be the World Series of Poker. A lot of aces floating around, 12-3. He's whacked up some aces here in our semifinal match over Smith Stoklos. Remember last week he had a back problem, but his back is feeling good this week. No sign of any support.
Yeah, they struggled in Phoenix. As my memory serves me, they had a 9th place finish in Phoenix, which is really poor for the team of Frohoff and Ludy's, but they close this out. They will assure themselves of the best finish so far this year.
And the cut shot right there by St. John Smith. So Smith and Stoklos have time. There's over 3 minutes to go. A lot of playing time, but they trail by 9 fat points. Keep in mind, Smith and Stoklos can score points very, very quickly, however.
Yeah, but they need all 5, however, from the good side right now. They need to score quickly. Some stuff blocks, some mistakes by Ludy's and Frohoff, which have not been coming. Something you can somewhat count on against Ricky Ludy's, Brent Frohoff, if you really extend the length of a game. But Smith Stoklos got to serve some aces.
Ricky Ludy's had hoped to have a huge 1992 after that great 1991, but he injured his wrist on February 29th in Montpellier, France, as the ball hit off of Frohoff. He dove for a ball in an indoor game in France and strained a ligament in his right wrist. He came back, he wasn't 100%, and it really affected him most of the summer. And kind of the blow-up with Adam Johnson and then switching around with partners. So Ricky Ludy's did not have the 92 he did in 91, if that makes any sense.
Well, suffice it to say, last year was a huge disappointment for Ricky Ludy's. Everybody thought that a new, very, very consistently competitive team had arrived in Adam Johnson and Ricky Luyties, and they just went by the board. They both struggled last year. Adam Johnson did not have a good year last year compared to his season prior.
So Frohoff to serve, it's 12-3. Now you ask, why don't Johnson, who didn't have a good year, and Ricky play together? I think Ricky very comfortable with Frohoff, and he's still mad, as Paul Sunderland told you earlier, if you missed it. He's still mad at Johnson for dumping him a little earlier that summer.
Well, I've talked to both of them about it a little bit, and Adam Johnson would like to get back together with Ricky, and has asked him to play a couple of times already this year since he split up with Steve Timmons, a partnership that did not work out at all well for Adam Johnson or Steve Timmons, and Ricky just says, no, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. And I asked Ricky about it or I should say 2 weeks ago in Phoenix when we did the mailbag together, and he said, I'm doing okay. I kind of like this.
Yeah, Adam Johnson didn't call him this week. I asked Ricky that, too. He said, you're always digging for a story, aren't you? I said, yeah, give me one. He said, nothing happening. He's happy with Frohoff. It's 12-3. Maybe he should be. Their best chance to win a tournament this year. They have a big lead on St. John Smith and Randy Stoklos. 12-3. The winner of this match plays Karch and Kent.
Well, we've been talking a lot as if this match were over, and indeed it looks like it is. If they continue to play the way they have been, they'll be able to finish off Smith and Stoklos. But they got to bear down here. They cannot let Smith and Stoklos get back into this match, make them work unduly hard in preparation for the final. Smith and Stoklos have an ability to get back in this thing very quickly.
Ricky blocks. That's the way to get back in quickly.
He serves, stuff blocks, quick rallies, and they really, really change the momentum faster than any other facet of the game.
So, giving the sign right there. Sign number 1. We won't say it. We're going to learn about those signals a little later on the Paul Mitchell mailbag. 1 is I'm blocking line. We'll have Tim Hovland on the Paul Mitchell mailbag this weekend. Boy, Hov had me going. He had me going with those signals. I said, what does 1 mean? And he told me, what does 2 mean? And he told me, and then he goes, but this was the one I really want to give you. Stay with us at halftime. The Hov on the mailbag.
That's a nice
Good shot. And Smith encouraging him. 4 serving 12 as Randy Stoklos sets back to serve. Stoklos is 32 years old. He is a twin. His sister Rhonda is also age 32. She came out first by 3 minutes, and Randy told me, hey, gentlemen, I said, ladies go first. Go ahead. So Rhonda now working in an architectural firm in Chicago, and she's married to a doctor. Stokey puts that away.
Doesn't this match have a lot of the same feel as the tournament we had recently in Clearwater at the Jose Cuervo event? Kirai and Steffes were killing Lewis and Whitmarsh. Huge crowd on hand. They were quiet. They were reserved. Kirai and Steffes looked like they were going on to an easy victory. And just like that, it was 12-all.
Nice dig by Smith. Chance to go to 5. St. John Smith. Bingo!
I continue to be surprised that so many top players make the same mistake over and over. Off the dig, there's no blocker in sight. You got to wait till after the ball is set. This ball is 50-50. Ricky Luyties has got to be there blocking, and then he has the advantage. These players are dropping off much too early on the digs and the passes off the net.
2 in a row for Smith and Stoklos. Stokey with a block. Good pickup by Frohoff. Smith! His dig is out of bounds. Good rally. Eat up a couple seconds on the clock. 1:52 to go. 12-5.
Near good play by Smith and Stoklos, and a near point. Frohoff chopping back out of the middle after Ricky Luyties had tapped into the block of Randy Stoklos. Smith stretched out, cannot make the dig.
Frohoff scrambling. He's got an open net, and once again, he hit it out.
The exact same play I was talking about, a scramble dig, and immediately even a player with Randy Stoklos' experience at a high level of play drops off automatically. You got to wait to see where the ball is set.
Stand timeout.
Stand timeout going to Frohoff and Luyties. We'll take a stand. 12-5. We're coming back. Trail 12-3. They have since scored 5 in a row. 1:20 to go, and St. John and Randy have pulled to within 4. Frohoff and Ludy still have a 4-point lead, but they're struggling. They've hit a couple of balls out, a couple of nice plays by Smith and Stoklos. And they're serving Ricky now. He's getting the bulk. He's taking his shirt off.
Smith has done an excellent job, Chris, of moving the jump serve around. Deep corner, over Ricky's shoulder, this time deep middle.
Yeah.
Really good accuracy with it.
Ricky bombs him.
Minute 15 left. There is just enough time, in my opinion, for Smith and Stoklos to get right back into this match. Obviously, they cannot give up any points. Which way does Stoklos go? Hangs pretty much on Ludy's line, and Smith not quite low enough to get after that ball.
Jump bump. Stoklos. And they get it over. Smith and Stoklos need to terminate this one bad here. They can't give up a point. And they do. Smith cuts it into the middle of the net.
That hustle play sealed it. That's the way you have to go after every ball, because you never know what is going to happen. Frohoff with the dig, and Ludy's just chugging after the ball out of the tape and keeping the ball in play. You run time off the clock, and now I think that's the point that seals it.
13-8 now with just over a minute to go. Good rally by both teams. And Frohoff launches one out of bounds. You don't want to miss serve. You got to put the ball in play.
Now you got to take a look at the clock, gather yourself once again. You know, Frohoff's been out on tour now for 10 years, several years now with the clock. He's got to look at it and say, okay, we got this. Just lob the ball high and deep.
Jump serve long. So right back at you the other way.
Well, Smith Stoklos are going to go for aces each and every time. Ludy's, this match is over now if they can just make a couple of plays. They should just talk about it, serve the ball high and deep, and try to take time.
Smith puts it away. Although, you know, Paul, we've seen a million of these matches. When you start playing conservatively, you lose your aggressiveness. You don't put the ball down right away. You're trying to poke it, and they get a point, and all of a sudden there's 5 seconds on the clock, and they're only down 1.
Well, that's what I think happened to Frohoff and Luyties when they went from 12-3 to 12-8. I figured that they thought they had it in the bag, and they lost a level of intensity, and it cost them.
51 seconds to go. Smith and Stoklos need points. Big points, fast points. And this could be one. Smith. Back to Ricky. And Stoklos backs off. And Ricky touched the net. That was really surprised that time, Paul. Stoklos was up there. He backed off, gave Ricky a free shot. Maybe it surprised Ricky. Maybe it was good strategy because Ricky just fished it in.
Well, same sort of thing. Ricky, is all there. I should say they're all by himself and goes into the top of the tape. But Stokey just bailed out of there on a ball he should have blocked on.
9 serving 13. They're working on Ricky. Working hard. And he sneaks it through. So Ricky Ludy's R-I-C-C-I. And he has a lot of fans on the AVP tour. Not only because of the way he looks, but the way he plays.
And Fro really encouraging, I think, Ricky to hit the ball. Ricky gets in trouble sometimes when he chops it around the court. And when you're built like he is and has his abilities, you got to challenge the block.
Just 33 seconds to go. Smith got to terminate right away, and he does.
Point down the line by Stoklos Smith. Pitcher takes the sideline.
13-9, and Stoklos going to try to rev up the jumper. Coming from the middle this time. And he'll go right to the net. Ace! It is now 13-10. Smith and Stoklos still behind.
That was a BB that just froze Brent Frohoff. Did not even take a step, and they're forced to take a quick stand timeout.
So 20-second timeout to Brent Frohoff and Ricky Luyties. Let's see that spacer acer.
I wasn't sure where Stoklos was going to go when he moved over into the middle. This gives him all kinds of options as he chopped back across his body. No, he goes to his favorite spot away from his body, right on the sideline.
A clutch serve by Randy Stoklos. Can he do it again, however? He needs a couple of more to really put the pressure on. That's a hard one. Off the net, Luyties. Singeing with a dig. Right back to Ricky. Right there. Stokey should get this one. He does. Right back to Ricky. And Stokey can't handle it. 10 seconds to go, so a long rally, and that should indeed do it.
could see Frohoff and Luyties putting a little extra altitude onto their setting and onto their passing to take precious seconds off the clock.
Long rally there. Stokey really needed that one to punch it to 13-11. Now Ricky just about has to just get this one in, and it's over. 3-point lead. 5 seconds to play. Interesting strategy.
Well, no harm, no foul.
Serve St. John and take cover.
St. John Smith does not get many chances to hit balls straight down with no block, but that was like the old days. Smith jumping and hitting hard. And I don't mean old days as in his chronology. I just mean prior injury and everything else and without any block.
Still time to win this one. We've timed it out. An ace takes a second. They're 5 seconds. They need 3 points. Smith, out of bounds, and that will just about do it. So Brent Frohoff and Ricky Luyties going to advance. A convincing win over St. John Smith and Randy Stoklos. Smith and Stoklos playing the high boy game, and that will do it. Luyties gets one more block. And the final official score, in case anybody gets you on trivia, what happened in the semifinal in Austin. Ricky Luyties and Brent Frohoff take care of St. John Smith and Randy Stoklos 14-10. Stay with us. We've got interviews. We've got AVP women, Karch and 10 off in the mailbag, all coming up for you after this.